Oh, I forgot I had makeup on. Oh no. Hey everyone, today's video I will be showing you how to create a pre-poo oil, I guess, treatment, cleansing, I don't know what you want to call it. Since all of this quarantine has began, I wasn't able to order any more MSM or any of the other herbs and things that I normally use, so I've kind of been trying to stretch it out until everything eases up. I'm at that point where I'm running really low on my MSM, so I kind of stopped taking it. So I'm trying to infuse as much as I can into these oils, so I'm still, you know, applying it to my scalp and my hair sparingly. So this DIY will be infusing the MSM into my oils, which I don't normally do. Well, I used to a while ago, but I found it best to take it internally. I get better benefits doing it that way than just applying it topically, but you can do both, so it's up to you. This recipe is to get your hair to grow super long, super thick. I would say super fast, but it depends on how often you're using this and your regular regimen at home on how you're treating your hair and, you know, what you're putting into your body and making sure you're healthy and all of that stuff. So I use my staple henna powders, and I also infused Fenugreek, Amla berry, Shikakai, the MSM, and my other favorite, castor oil. We can jump right into the pros and the cons before you use it, just so you have all the information you can. Henna is really good for your hair. It boosts hair growth, it reduces your scalp fallout, your hair fallout. I can't even read this right now. It conditions your hair, it prevents dandruff, it repairs split ends, and balances your pH and oil production. The cons of using henna. Henna is very harsh and it's very strong, so it can end up drying your hair out if you use it by itself. I would suggest, and everyone else would highly recommend, mixing it with something else. So if you're infusing it into your oils, that's fine, but if you're using it on its own, it will make your hair really brittle and like dry. It's kind of like if you were to spray starch on your clothes. I don't even know if people do that anymore, but if you were to spray it, it becomes really stiff to the point where it can break. So that you have to be really careful with. It can kind of block your hair follicles if you use too much of it. So because it adds an extra coat and layer over your hair, you might have to be really careful if you do bleach your hair or dye it, or if it's permed, or if you're doing anything extra to your hair. So just make sure you're giving it enough moisture and attention so you don't ruin your hair. But it is very beneficial as well. Fenugreek is something that you've already seen before in my previous DIY hair oil recipe. I absolutely love this herb. The pros and the cons. It's really good for your skin and your scalp, and it fights dandruff, it creates shiny conditioned hair, promotes hair growth. I can't speak today, I'm really sorry. It regulates the sebum production, which is the oil production in your hair, which is what makes it greasy or not moisturized enough. I don't know. It gives your hair volume and porosity. It's a really good washing and sanitizing agent. It has anti-inflammatory properties, and it imitates your estrogen's functions. So it all goes hand in hand. But for the cons, most of this is when you're taking it internally, if you're trying to use it as medicine or whatever, but you can have diarrhea, stomach upset, bloating, gas, dizziness, headaches, wheezing, facial swelling. It's not good if you have an allergy to peanuts or chickpeas, since it's all in the same family, and you might have a severe allergic reaction. You're taking the risk with anything you're taking internally, so of course, as I always say, do your own research first. The lovely miracle aloe vera plant is used for so many things, for your hair, for your skin, for medicine, just for so many things. This too has anti-inflammatory properties. It moisturizes your scalp and your hair. It has vitamins A, vitamin C, vitamins E, B12, a lot of folic acids. It reduces your dandruff, it balances your pH levels. It heals your scalp affected by psoriasis and seborrhea, and it promotes hair growth. You do have to be careful with aloe vera. You can have a potential allergic reaction, so test it on a small, very, very tiny, small portion of your skin and see if you have any reactions or anything, unless you get tested and you know what you're allergic to and what you're not allergic to in the first place. You can have contact dermatitis or skin rashes, phototoxicity, which is the skin irritation similar to like severe sunburn, so you have to be careful with that as well. And if you're taking it orally, you might get diarrhea, vomiting, you might have an electrolyte imbalance or colon and kidney problems. Almond berry, it strengthens your scalp and your hair. It prevents dandruff, it reduces hair loss. It's full of vitamin C, B5, B6, vitamins A, polyphenols, amino acids, and proteins. It prevents or treats parasitic hair and scalp infections. It stimulates hair growth and it improves your overall health of your hair. As far as the cons, there's not much associated with taking almond berry internally or topically that really has been found, but since it's not common but it can happen, it might trigger lichen planus pigmentosus. That's really hard to say, but it's basically brown or grayish brown spots that might appear in your temple, your neck, and your forehead, and it's also known to cause inflammation, and you might have an allergic reaction to it, so you just have to be careful. Shikakai is really good for making your hair very soft and shiny. It heals your dry scalp, it fights dandruff, boosts your hair growth. It is a very gentle detangler. It delays the graying of your hair. I should stop saying this. I think we all know that all of them do. It treats lice, it strengthens and thickens your hair. It's a really good cleanser. It has antifungal and antibacterial properties. It conditions your hair. It's full of vitamin C, vitamins K, and vitamins E, and it reduces frizz. As far as the cons, it can make your hair really oily. Excessive use can cause respiratory issues or asthma, but I'm assuming that's like if you're handling the powder a lot, and any of these herbs can probably cause that too, because I usually have a difficult time when I'm opening the bag or, you know, mixing the oils and mixing the powders into the oils, because I do have asthma, so that does irritate it. And like henna, it kind of has the same effect on if you use too much. It becomes brittle and dry because it's extra coating layers over your follicle. Too much can be a not so great thing. And do not take this internally while you're pregnant. Castor oil is an oil that many have used. It promotes hair growth and it prevents hair loss, and it moisturizes your hair and your scalp. It has antifungal and antibacterial properties. It's a natural hair conditioner, and it strengthens the roots and your scalp. So a lot of people use this to aid in their growth. Some people put it on their eyelashes, their eyebrows, or anywhere they want hair to grow. We would typically use castor oil to help it. The cons for castor oil is that it can make your hair look really greasy and oily, and too much of it can cause buildup. If you're taking it orally, it can cause dizziness, abdominal cramps, diarrhea, nausea, electrolyte disturbance, low blood pressure, and pelvic congestion. And it's stated to avoid in pregnancy because it can induce premature labor. Just don't take any of these herbs internally unless you talk to your doctor and get the good to go, especially if you're pregnant or you're trying to get pregnant. Olive oil is an oil I've been using for a really long time, and I only sort of recently switched to predominantly using coconut oil. I just didn't have enough coconut oil. Now I have that big obnoxiously large jar and I use that more than I use olive oil. But it improves your skin's health, it helps to prevent split ends, it strengthens and shines your hair, it reduces dandruff, it allows more hair manageability, it adds softness, it moisturizes, it fights infections due to bacteria, and it improves the blood circulation within your scalp. The cons of olive oil: it might flatten your hair strands, it can make your hair really, really oily and hard to remove. Coconut oil, it is a good lice prevention. It protects your hair from the sun and environment. It has hair loss prevention. It can be used as conditioner, post-wash, detangler, or pre-wash detangler. It's a good scalp treatment. It adds shine and luster to your hair. It prevents hair breakage and split ends. It stimulates your hair growth, reduces protein loss, and prevents hygral fatigue in your hair since it retains the moisture. And the cons for using coconut oil is that the oil and protein can build up within your scalp, and the heavy oil can weigh down your hair. And finally, the peppermint oil, it helps add more blood circulation to your scalp, which in turn helps promote healthy hair growth. It helps with scalp itching, dryness, and other scalp issues that you might have. It's antimicrobial, it is anti-inflammatory, it cleans and clarifies and cleanses your scalp and your hair. It balances the sebum production within your scalp, and it strengthens the roots and helps treat lice. And the cons for using peppermint oil: the smell might be too strong for you, or it might irritate your skin. As far as the MSM goes, I'm not even gonna give any pros, cons, or details with that because I already have a full-on video. So if you're interested or curious about what MSM is, what it does for your hair, and you know, all of that stuff, you can check out my first month experience using this in the first place, because I give all the details there. And if you want to know more, you can check out my updates that I've done. So I will leave those video links in the description below so you can check those out. But I do these oil recipes ahead of time before I record, and I test it out and I use it. And at first this recipe was not going to be a pre-poo treatment, but the combination of all of those oils, it does build up and it does get really greasy and it can get really messy. And now since the weather's getting warmer, the oil's melting. So if you want to save your sheets and your sanity, I would definitely use this in your routine. Yes, if you're going to use it every day, use very, very, very little. And if you want to get it good into your scalp, I would suggest using it a couple of hours before your wash routine, or maybe a day, or leave it in overnight. Just wrap up your hair so you don't mess up anything else. So be very, very wary of the amount of oil that you're putting into your scalp to balance out the mess it might make. But overall, it's kind of like a touch and go for me to see how much of it my hair can handle, and I'm kind of getting the hang of it more. But now since I got the hang of it more, I'm almost done with it, and I'm going to try something new anyways. But I will know in future reference to ease up on the amount of oil that I'm putting into my scalp. But anyways, I hope this will help in your hair journey and gives you some ideas. You don't have to do exactly what I did. I'm not set on measurements. I just put a lot in the pot and see how much oil I create, and I use it till it's done. You can kind of create your own measurements of how much of what you want to use. Please don't forget to click on that subscribe button and ring your notification bell so you are aware of whenever I do post. And I'll see you guys later. So have a wonderful night, morning, evening, or afternoon, whenever you're watching. Yeah.